So I'm Howard Jones and I'm the curator at Creswell Crags. This year, 2025, is the 150th anniversary of the very first excavations at Creswell Crags. The very first excavations took place in April 1875 and they were first undertaken by John Meggers-Mello and Thomas Heath, and then later joined by William Boyd Dawkins. They did a huge amount of excavations, and then there were a couple of smaller excavations by other people later on in the 19th century. The 19th century is very much sort of a boom in science and research, and people starting to understand that there were past climatic changes, past environmental changes, changes in thought processes from like biblical flood and things happening associated with the Bible, to there having been like glacial changes and changes in climate. And people have started exploring caves elsewhere in the country and had found animal bones of animals that are now extinct or now live elsewhere in the world. So John Meggers-Mello came to Creswell Crags to see if we had similar evidence in the caves here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the techniques they used to excavate the caves?
Yes, so they were a lot less careful than what we do now. So they dug out a huge amount of sediment in a very short period of time. They were very much focused on remains of humans, evidence of humans, and large mammal bones. So anything smaller they disregarded. They didn't sieve, which we would do nowadays. If you read their reports, they say, oh, there was a waterfowl, but they don't mention any other small mammals. And then I've got here just two images of outside Robin Hood Cave. And these big mountains are the mountains of sediment that they just dug out the cave in such a short period of time, whereas nowadays that would take us years to go through, years to excavate, and then years to sieve in the lab and then identify every single kind of tooth or bone that we come across, but they did not do that. So they found evidence of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals in terms of their stone tools, and they found some bone tools as well created by Homo sapiens. They also found lots of mammal bones, so they found lots of hyenas, spotted hyenas in the caves, and then a lot of animals like reindeer, woolly mammoth, horse, woolly rhino, and a lot of those species had been sort of brought into the caves probably by the hyenas as well and gnawed upon them. And then their excavations inspired more excavations as well. So there were even more excavations undertaken in the 19th century and then further on through time as well. This year is the 150th anniversary of the very first official excavations at Creswell Crags. And Creswell Crags has been excavated numerous times since then. So we've had the 1870s, later on in the 19th century, the 20s, the 30s, 60s, 80s, the beginning of the 21st century and today. And it's just shown, the excavations have shown that there's so much that has been discovered at Creswell Crags in terms of the animals that lived here, in terms of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals visiting here, in terms of what the environment was like. There's still a lot that we're currently working through in terms of discovering and identifying the material from previous collections, using established scientific techniques to learn more about the animals and the humans and the environment. And there's still probably a lot more that can be applied to the existing collections and potentially to the deposits and other areas in the site as well to learn even more about the past at Creswell Crags.